Hi, I'm Rita Wilkins, also known as the Downsizing Designer. So are you decluttering your home and maybe you've gotten stuck or you've gotten stopped? I want to offer 10 easy steps to get started and also stay motivated. So do you know that the number one challenge that most people have if they're decluttering their homes is to get started? And then the second is to stay motivated. So if you've found the courage already to take those first couple of steps, to declutter your home so that your kids won't have to clean out those things after you're gone, you can prepare for a fresh start after you retire, or you can just finally enjoy that simpler life coming home to a less cluttered home. So think of it this way. If you are successful at starting your decluttering journey already because you took time to create a vision for what your life could look like after decluttering, or if you maybe created a decluttering plan and a timeline to accomplish those goals, and if you began seeing the fruit of your efforts in those areas, you were actually on a roll. And might be past tense because maybe you've lost that motivation. So what happened to that drive to declutter once and for all? And why are you suddenly resisting, procrastinating, and finding every other excuse to not dedicate time to the decluttering? You may not have anticipated that there would be roadblocks along the way. Maybe you've lost momentum and you are having bouts of self-doubt. So despite all the previous efforts, the task ahead feels overwhelming once again. And even the best laid plans for a clutter-free home now seem like that distant dream. So there is something called the messy middle. You've probably heard about it. And if this resonates with you, you're definitely not alone. That messy middle is where the going gets tough. And as the saying goes, that's where the tough gets going. So we're human. We do lose excitement. We lose enthusiasm. Rather than telling ourselves we can, we're telling ourselves we can't. It's too hard, and then we quit. So this is a mind game that applies to many areas of life. If you've tried to lose weight, learn a new skill, get fit, even training for a marathon, it's not unusual to take one step forward and a couple of steps back. So how do you pick yourself up? How do you start over? So Theodore Roosevelt said, if you believe you can, you're halfway there. I love that. So the first step is believing that you can succeed. And if you're committed to your decluttering goals and you want to reignite that drive, just follow these 10 simple steps. And they'll help you get started. They'll help you stay motivated on your decluttering journey. And again, if it happens in the future, just go back to these 10 steps. So number one is to deeply connect with why you want to declutter in the first place. So what's your core reason for decluttering? The reason should resonate with you deeply. It can actually make you cry. So maybe you don't want to leave your kids all that mess with the emotional burden of you passing away and then also cleaning out all of your belongings. It could be that you just dream of that lighter lifestyle so you can go travel more, be with family more. You want the freedom and the flexibility that having less provides. And so the second step is to recommit to your vision after decluttering, that life after decluttering. So create a vision board if you have to, and help it vividly depict your clutter-free life. Places and place it somewhere that you can be inspired by it daily. So maybe in that vision board, you're going to see yourself traveling more. You're going to be with your family, your grandkids. You're going to have more time and energy to pursue the hobbies and the things that you most love and you want to take on. It might be weekly play dates with your grandchildren. So all of these are recommitting your vision to that life after decluttering. The third is to acknowledge that you got off track. So admit that you've lost momentum and identify clearly what are the contributing factors. So it could be the emotional impact of decluttering those family photos. That's bound to bring a few tears and a lot of emotion. The physical exhaustion of decluttering, whether you're doing it alone or with someone, it's still physically exhausting. And then there's the negative feedback that you might get from your family and friends. Having someone say you'll never get that done, eventually that kind of seeps into your mindset, and you might be saying, you know what, they're right. Don't let that happen. And number 4 is to celebrate your wins, whether they're big or small. So recognize that progress, even though it might be very small. Recall what worked and what kept you motivated, what ignited it in the first place. So one thing that I love to recommend is to use that burst method of decluttering. Just set a timer for 15 to 30 minutes. If you do that daily, it just kind of helps because you're seeing some progress, even though it might be small. And number 5 is to identify when you started to lose interest. So try to pinpoint that moment or that period of time or the triggers that caused you to lose focus. So it could be the naysayers, people who discourage you from even trying to clean up your home. Another is emotional triggers. So it could be items that have very strong memories. For me, it was my dad's alarm clock, believe it or not, and my mom's teacups. Another one, just distractions. So when you have social media or phone calls that are stealing your time, no wonder you're going to get off track. And then number 6 is to have a step-by-step plan to overcome those setbacks. So if you anticipate the setbacks, you're basically preparing a plan to navigate those obstacles. So review your vision board daily, declutter small, the high impact areas first, and alternate methods. So the burst method is my number 1 go-to, the category method, the room by room method. Some days you just feel like taking it slow and do a little bit at a time. Some days you really want to, be more aggressive about it and get a lot done. So monitor your own feelings about it at the time and be familiar with different types of decluttering methods. And then track your progress with before and after photos. I love this because I think of when I helped my sister declutter her desk. It was a true mess, and she couldn't think, she couldn't work. And she said, Rita, please help me. So I said, okay, we're going to take 1 hour. We absolutely decluttered her desk and all the areas surrounding. But before we did that, we took the before picture. And then the after picture sits at her desk every single day as a reminder. So if you do that too, it's amazing how that one helps. And then the 7th step is to reframe your thinking from I can't to I can. So identify and counter that negative self-talk that will be inevitable. Replace that I can't with positive affirmations. Like I always think of a whack-a-mole that you see in the circus where you whack it down, smack down that negative thought as soon as it pops up. Be patient, and over time, this habit will actually get stronger. And then surround yourself with people who support you. So engage accountability partners who celebrate your wins and encourage you during your setbacks. And sometimes just a good little kick in the fanny that you need, or that other person that's going to remind you that, it's just stuff, and help you get past those tears and aggravation and everything else. And number 9 is to stay in the moment. Focus on one task at a time. I can't tell you how important this is because it's tempting to jump from one area to the other, but completing small tasks builds momentum. And number 10, you've heard this from me before, but have fun while you're decluttering. So discover ways to enjoy the process. So it could be hosting a decluttering party with your friends, work together, then share a meal and have a glass of wine and tell those stories, the ones that made you cry, the ones that made you laugh, and then play music, listen to audiobooks, or just enjoy podcasts as you work. I found myself doing this, and it's really, it just kind of zone in to something that you love listening to, and then you basically tune everything out, and then you just get your work done. And this is just not to give up. If you've lost motivation to declutter, don't give up. Believe in yourself, believe in the process, and remember that you're halfway there. As challenging as this journey might be, you're going to learn a lot about yourself along the way. And when you look back, you're going to realize that every single minute was worth it. Good luck.